So good afternoon, everyone. We are dealing with unit number 5, etiquettes. So today we're going to talk about etiquettes of small talks, how talking small and developing small conversations can help you out. Remember, the journey of 1,000 steps begin with the first step that you take, and then the continuous steps that you move towards with. Then only you can start, not only start and progress and move on in your journey. Similarly, small talks play an important role in developing various kinds of business as well as professional relationships. So, small talks are actually like an icebreaker that clears the way for a more intimate conversation or more longer conversations. It actually lays a foundation for a stronger foundation or a stronger foundation for your personal and professional relationship. Remember, everybody who shares a good professional relationship with one or the other organization had started with a small talk or a small conversation. Now remember, we all should remember that making small talks is not an easy task. It's quite tough a task, and not everybody can deal with it. All right, but it all comes with practice. It all comes with practice, and one needs to practice. Why would small talks become important? Small talks become important because it helps people feel included, valued, and comfortable. Right? Somebody would talk to you when somebody becomes comfortable while talking to you. Right? So, talking to a person leads the person into coming into your own comfort zone. Right? It will help you move from out of the comfort zone into the comfort zone. Right? That's the reason small talks are valued a lot in organizational settings. Please mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. What are the two primary objectives to become better at small talks? Please mark this as important question from the exam point of view. The two objectives, the two primary objectives are to take the risk. Remember, as I said, not everybody, even if you take your class, even if you take your classroom, you will see there are many people who are very chirpy, and they can start and talk with anybody, and there are some who cannot talk much with others. They're not comfortable talking with others, right? That's why here the first objective is to take the risk of talking first. Why is it called a risk? It is called a risk because not many people are comfortable talking to strangers or talking to people whom they don't know. That is one of the reasons why it's written over here to take the risk. Next is to take the first move, or to make the first move in conversations is quite a task for many people, but making the first move is equally important. Making the first move is equally important because from there only the conversations would move forward. From there only the conversations would move forward. So it's essential for anybody to start, right? It's like the starting point that you give to a person to talk about. That's why it's like extremely necessary to take the first step towards talking. And the second objective is to assume the burden. Remember, like you only, some other people are also not comfortable building up the conversation. And they are also not comfortable moving out of their comfort zones. They feel as if they are aliens in this company. They don't know other people. They don't know how to talk, how to move into the comfort. So what happens is, you as an individual, you should take up the responsibility to come up with topics to discuss. Assume the burden of the other person's comfort. So is the statement true or false? Small talks can be considered as icebreaker to clear the way for conversations. You may type your answers in the chat box. Two correct answers. The statement is true. Small talks a valuable thing. It is Small talks are considered to be essential for creating and enriching business relationships. You cannot always be discussing only business, right? You cannot always be discussing only business. Now, this small talks help you to discuss relevant things apart from business, right? It helps you to discuss relevant things apart from business, because we are supposed to take care whenever we talk something apart from business, it does not become more personal. It does not become more personal. We're supposed to see to it that things don't become personalized. Moreover, the small talks help to develop the conversation, which eventually leads to long term professional relationship. Why? When you talk to somebody, you try to bring them in your comfort zone, you try to move into their comfort zone, and usually people choose to do business with whom they are comfortable. A person who is a good conversationalist, a person who is a good conversationalist would generate a very positive aura, and positivity is what attracts people towards each other, right? This person would who converses well would generate a positive aura with the way and on the topics on which he or she talks. All right. And that would help generate a positive aura. People would feel comfortable about it and would try developing conversations with people. Next, it helps to strengthen and garner the business relationship. You have to nurture a relationship. Remember, relationships don't work on their own, whether it is business or it is personal. You have to give time, you have to nurture it, you have to look after things. And so, these things happen when you talk. It also adds, small talks would also add a humanistic approach. See, nowadays, what has happened is people and things have become more mechanical. Right? Things have become more mechanical. People have become more mechanical. So, what can one do to have a humanistic approach or a humanistic touch to something? A humanistic approach and touch to would come when you talk to people. You know, you like to talk. Human beings love to do so. They like to talk. So, when you talk, it gives a more uh, kind of a humanistic touch. It feels as if you're talking to a human being, and it gives a good approach and touch to it. Next is the statement, true or false. The people's choices do not depend on the rapport that is built by a small talk. You may type your answers in the chat box. Quick and correct answers. The statement is false. People choices do depend upon small talks, do depend on rapport building as well. Next, harvesting big gains with small talks. As as I have said, and we have discussed a lot on this as well, that small talks set the tone. They are actually the beginning of longer and deeper conversations. Small talks act like bridges for bigger conversations to happen between and amongst companies, organization, and people. Usually, when you want to do a small talk or have a small talk with somebody, you should always try to make it a conversation and not a yes and no formula. Okay, you have to try and make it a conversation and not a yes and no thing. Why? Because you want to develop it as a conversation and not as a yes and no question answer session. It's not a question answer thing. All right, so that's the reason. Try to develop the conversation instead of just sticking to yes and no. Right? Small talks, they act as icebreakers. So they create, first thing, they build a rapport. Right? When you talk to people, it builds a rapport. It builds a kind of a tuning. Next, it creates cohesive teams. What is meant by cohesive teams? Cohesive teams are teams that work together. Teams where you don't have to delegate work. They know their responsibility and they work to achieve their responsibility. Next, it also not only increases the chance of success of the individual but of the organization as well. It not only increases the chance of success of an individual but of an organization as well. Moreover, because of the success of the organization and the individual, it would also lead to satisfaction in the kind of work that has been done. It would also lead to satisfaction that you get when you do your work, right? You are happy about it. Now the happier you are, the more hard you will work and the better you will produce, and then success will become a habit. Next, with a small thing, though it is called small talk, it is not a small thing. Why? It is like the first step that you take, the first step that you take towards your success, or the first step that you take towards harvesting more, is what small talks are all about. It not only helps develop professional relationships but also helps develop personal relationships because it connects people. What if you and I just keep sitting here for 1 hour, neither I say anything nor do you speak or nor you respond to me? Will it develop? No, it will not. Here it develops because it is a connecting thread. People are connected by talking. One of the other steps is also appreciating. So when you appreciate somebody, you have to talk to the person. I understand making conversations with strangers is not a thing for everyone. It's not a thing for everyone. Everybody cannot do it that easily. But yes, it can. Yes, it can be acquired for small talks by practicing, and then acquiring the skills would be a necessity. So it is a statement true or false? Small talks act as icebreakers that can lead to create cohesive teams. You may type your answers in the chat box. Excellent, very quick and correct answers. The statement is true. Next, to expand your professional circle, you must start engaging, talking to strangers as well as acquaintances. So, who are acquaintances? Acquaintances are people whom you know, people with whom you can, people with whom you have had fair amount of meetings. You're not that comfortable talking with the person, but you have met the person. You know a little bit about the person. All right. Now, beginning to talk with such kind of people can help you further to develop talks with strangers. By strangers, we mean people whom we are meeting for the first time with respect to business. Right? People whom we are meeting for the first time with respect to business. Right? Strangers are people who can bring a new dimension to life. They are the one who have the potential to become good friends. When you started off in the college, you might not have known many people, but then suddenly now your circle has grown to larger extent. How has it grown? It has grown by talking, spending time, investing your time, right? This is how you have grown from strangers to best friends. Now the same thing applies in business as well. From strangers, they can become your good friends, your long term clients, your valued associates, and they also help you bridge new experiences. They are the ones who will encourage you to try out something new, add a new perspective to your life, etc. Silence is impolite. Though we have a saying which says silence is golden, but then in this modern and competitive era, we cannot remain silent. You will not be recognized for your silence. You will be recognized for your speech, the way you speak, behave, and the way you portray your work. All right, you'll be known by those things, you'll not be known by silence. So remember not to keep quiet. Try and talk and make different conversations possible. Also try and work on your skills. Now when you talk to somebody, it would highlight your skills. People would come and people would notice, okay, this person has this skill, right? It would happen only and only when you talk to somebody. It cannot uh, happen on its own, right? It cannot happen on its own. It would only happen when you talk. Next, one must make conscious efforts. One must make conscious efforts to make small conversations, to make small talks possible, because as I said, conversations and all do not happen on their own. Things don't happen on their own. You have to make a conscious effort, right? You should be making or taking chances. You should be working on it. Next, introduce yourself. When in meetings, you should not wait for the host to introduce you, because it is expected that you mingle on your own, you try and meet and develop conversations, sort out a group on your own, be a part of a group on your own. People are expected to take an initiative, because there is a saying that we have which says that you can take the horse to the well, but you cannot force it to drink. So take the initiative for yourself, introduce yourself, try to mix and match with people, try to acquaint yourself with people, introduce, extend a hand for handshake, make proper eye contact and smile. This is what will make your uh, personality more pleasant and people would like to talk to you. Try to involve in talks where you are in a dilemma what to talk about. What you can do is you can simply listen. You can simply listen to people and then try joining in the conversation, right? There's two way of doing it. Either you start the conversation, or Either you start the conversation or you join the conversation. These are the two ways of conversing. Right? These are the ways in which you can develop your talks with people. Next, one must wait for the host to properly introduce him or her. Is the statement true or false? You may mark your answer, you may type your answers in the chat box. Very good. It is nice to see that everybody is participating and you are also giving correct answers. The statement is false. We must not wait for the host to introduce ourselves. We must take the initiative and first step and introduce ourselves on our own. Next, some tips for small talks. You may mark this as an important question from the exam point of view. So you should take the risk and initiate the talk. Smile, because smiles give positive aura, as we have dealt with. Greetings are also very, very important. Whenever you start your small talk, remember to greet the person. Try and talk on topics that interest people, a large number of people. One should try and talk on such topics which could include or which interest larger number of people, so that more number of people can be a part of the conversation. That's the reason why we should do that. Next, slowly dive into specific topics after you come to know about the interest of the various people that are talking to you. Small benefits, remember, can lead to greater benefits. Small talks can lead to greater benefits later on. So try and make the conversation as useful as possible by talking about different things. You may come to know about the various interests of other people as well. So look into things. Make proper eye contact, because people not only listen to your language, but they also view your body language. And practice is the only way to become better at conversation skills. So with this, the topic comes to an end. With this, the topic comes to an end. Do we have any doubts, questions, or queries? All right, when there are no doubts, then we can move on to our quiz. There you go. You have the quiz link for today. You may start attempting your quiz now. I see almost everybody has completed the quiz. Now, before I take the attendance, what you need to do is I'm sending you one more link where you need to mention your name, your enrollment number, your class, that is 3EF1, and the name of the book and the author of the book which you have selected for your which you have selected for book review. Kindly fill the form right away. I've given a lot of time for thinking. You may fill the form. I'm giving you 5 minutes of time to do so. It's good to see 5 of you have already submitted the response. I expect the response to be completed by today, 3 o'clock, so that we can work further on it. So by the time you were filling in your responses, I have already taken the attendance. These are the absent numbers. The absent numbers are enrollment number 1, 9, 12, 16, and 19. So these are the absent numbers: 1, 9, 12, 16, and 19. People who have already marked the books, you are requested to start reading your books and working on it. I've already shared how you need to work, but I'll also be sending the PPT in our shared folder, right? And I'll be sharing the PPT for reference purpose, you may look at it. Fine. We end our session here today. So you're given time till 3 p.m. today to complete this work. So we call it a day, class. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, class.